Meditation for Dummies by S.Bodian. A useful guidebook filled with clear instructions and helpful hints. A reference for the rest of us. Embarking on the journey of meditation. No doubt you picked up this book because you are searching for something more in life, more peace of mind, more energy, more well-being, more meaning, more happiness, more joy. You've heard about meditation and you wonder what it has to offer. To continue the journey metaphor, you could say that the practice of meditation begins where you are and ends up taking you where you want to be. Being an adventurous sort, I like to think of it as a climb up a mountain. You've seen snapshots of the summit, and from the bottom you can barely glimpse the summit through the clouds. But the only way to get there is up, one step at a time. Different paths up the same mountain. Imagine that you're getting ready to climb this mountain. In brackets, if you live in the Netherlands or the Midwestern United States, get out your National Geographic for the one. How are you going to get to the top? You could take some climbing lessons, buy the right gear, and inch your way up one of the rocky faces. Or you could choose one of the many trails that meander up the mountain and take a leisurely hike to the summit. In brackets, of course, you could always cheat and drive your car, but that would ruin my metaphor. Although they all end up at the same place, every trail has its unique characteristics. One may take you on a gradual ascent through forests and meadows, whereas another may head steeply uphill over dry, rocky terrain. From one you may have visitors of lush valleys filled with flowers. From another you may see farmland, or desert. Depending on your energy and your motivation, you may choose to stop at a picnic spot en route and while away a few hours, in brackets, or a few days, enjoying the peace and quiet. Hey, you might enjoy it so much that you decide not to climb any farther. Perhaps you'd rather climb one of the smaller peaks along the way instead of going to distance to the top. Or you may prefer to charge to the summit as quickly as you can without bothering to linger anywhere. Remember, the journey of meditation has a great deal in common with climbing a mountain. You can aim for the top, or you can just set your sights on some grassy knoll or lesser peak halfway up the slope. Whatever your destination, you can have fun and reap the benefits of just breathing deeply and exercising muscles you did not even know you had. People have been climbing the mountain of meditation for thousands of years in different parts of the world. In brackets, for more on the history of meditation, see Chapter 3. As a result, topographic maps and guidebooks abound, each with its own unique version of how to make your way up the mountain, and its own recommendations for how to hike and what to carry. In brackets, to get a sense of the range of meditation materials available these days, just check out the shelves of your local bookstore or the web pages of your favorite online book source. Traditionally, the guidebooks describe a spiritual path involving a set of beliefs and practices, often secret, that have been passed down from one generation to the next. In brackets, see the sidebar, Meditation's Spiritual Roots. In recent decades, however, Western researchers and teachers have distilled meditation from its spiritual origins and now offer it as the remedy for a variety of 21st century ills. In brackets, for more on the benefits of meditation, see Chapter 2. For more on meditation research, see Chapter 19. Although the maps and books may describe the summit differently, some emphasize the vast open spaces. Others pay more attention to the peace or exhilaration you feel when you get there. And some even claim that there's more than one peak. I happen to agree with the ancient sage who said, meditation techniques are just different paths up the same mountain. Here are a few of the many techniques that have been developed over the centuries. Repetition of a meaningful word or phrase, known as a mantra. In brackets, see chapters 3 and 13. Mindful awareness of the present moment. In brackets, for more on mindfulness, see chapters 6 and 15. Following or counting your breath. In brackets, see chapter 6. Paying attention to the flow of sensations in your body. In brackets, see chapter 6. Cultivation of loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and other healing emotions. In brackets, see chapter 10. Concentration on a geometric shape or other simple visual object. Visualization of a peaceful place or healing energy or entity. In brackets, see chapter 16. Reading and reflecting upon inspirational or sacred writings. In brackets, see chapter 13. Gazing at a picture of a holy being or saint. Contemplation of nature and chanting praises to the divine. Throughout this book you find opportunities to experiment with many of these techniques, as well as detailed guidance in the practice of one in particular, mindfulness, beginning with your breath and then extending your meditation to every moment of your life. The view from the summit and from other peaks along the way. Spiritual stuff. When you reach the summit of the meditation mountain, what do you see? If we can trust the reports of the meditators and mystics who have climbed the mountain before us, we can declare with some confidence that the top of the mountain harbors the source of all love, wisdom, happiness, and joy. Some people call it spirit or soul, true nature or true self, the ultimate truth of the ground of being, in brackets, or just being itself. Others call it God, or the divine, or the holy mystery, or simply the One. There are nearly as many names for it as people who experience it, and some spiritual traditions consider it so sacred and powerful that they hesitate to give it a name. As for experience of reaching the summit, seasoned meditators use words like enlightenment, in brackets, from ignorance, awaking, in brackets, from a dream, liberation, in brackets, from bondage, freedom, in brackets, from limitation, and union, in brackets, with God or being. Traditional wisdom. An old saying likens all these words and names to fingers pointing at the moon. If you pay too much attention to the finger, you risk missing the beautiful moon, which is the reason for pointing the finger in the first place. Ultimately, you need to experience the moon, or in this case, the summit, for yourself. Of course, you may have no interest in lofty states and experiences like enlightenment or union. Perhaps you bought this book simply because you wanna reduce your stress or enhance your healing process or deal with your emotions. Forget about the holy mystery. A little more clarity and peace of mind would suit you just fine. Thank you very much. Well, the truth is you are going to follow the same path no matter how high up the mountain you want to go. The basic instructions remain the same, but you get to choose your destination. Among the most popular stopping places and promontories en route to the summit are the following: stronger focus and concentration, reduced tension, anxiety and stress, clearer thinking and less emotional turmoil, lower blood pressure and cholesterol, support in kicking, addictions and other self-defeating behaviors, greater creativity and enhanced performance in work and play, increased self-understanding and self-acceptance, more joy, love and spontaneity, greater intimacy with friends and family members, deeper sense of meaning and purpose, glimpses of a spiritual dimension of being. Remember, as you can see, these way stations are actually major destinations in their own right, and all of them are well worth reaching. In brackets, for more on the benefits of meditation, see chapter 2. You may be quite content to stop halfway up the mountain after you've reduced your stress, improved your health, and experienced greater overall well-being. Or you may feel inspired to push on for the higher altitudes that the great meditators describe. The taste of pure mountain water. The elaborate on this mountain metaphor a bit. Imagine that there's a spring at the summit that gushes forth the pure water of being and never runs dry. In brackets, depending on your orientation, you may prefer to call it the water of grace or spirit or unconditional love. Those who make it to the top get to dive into the pool that surrounds the spring and immerse themselves completely in the water. In fact, some even merge with the water and become identical with being itself. In brackets, don't worry, you won't merge if you don't want to. Meditation's spiritual roots. Although many ordinary folks are meditating these days, in brackets, including quite possibly people you know, the practice wasn't always so readily available. For centuries, monks, nuns, mystics, and wandering ascetics preserved it in secret, using it to enter higher states of consciousness and ultimately to achieve the pinnacle of their particular paths. Highly motivated lay people with time on their hands could always learn a few techniques, but the rigorous practice of meditation remained a sacred pursuit limited to an elite few who were willing to renounce the world and devote their lives to it. In brackets, see chapter 3 for more on the history of meditation. How times have changed. from beat Zen in the 50s and the influx of Indian yogis and swamis in the 60s to the current fascination with Buddhism, meditation has definitely become mainstream, and its practical benefits are applauded in every medium, both actual and virtual. In brackets, have you ever checked out the websites devoted to meditation? Meditation has studied extensively in psychology labs and reduced to formulas like the relaxation response, in brackets, a simple technique for diminishing stress. Yet it has never entirely lost its spiritual roots. In fact, the reason meditation works so effectively is that it connects you with the spiritual dimension, which different commentators give different names, but I like to call simply being. Discovering the treasure in your own house. In the Jewish tradition, they tell a story that has its counterparts in all the world's great meditative techniques, meditative teachings. Simon, a simple tailor, fantasizes night and day about the great treasure he will one day find when he leaves his little village and his family home and ventures forth into the world. Late one night, with a few belongings on his back, he sets off on his travels. For years, Simon wanders from one great city to another, making his living mending clothes, searching for the treasure he knows belongs to him. But all the people he asks about the treasure have problems of their own and are unable to help him. One day he comes upon a psychic known far and wide for her extraordinary abilities. Yes, she says, there is indeed a vast treasure that belongs to you, and you're alone. Hearing this, Simon's eyes light up with excitement. I will tell you how to find it, she continues, giving Simon complex directions that he meticulously records. When she comes to the end of her instructions and describes the very street and house where this treasure is allegedly buried, Simon can't believe his ears, for this is the very home he had left years before when setting out on his quest. Quickly he thanks the psychic, stuffs the directions in his pocket, and hurries back in the direction from which he came. And behold, much to his surprise, he does indeed find a vast and unfathomable treasure buried beneath the hearth in his own house. The point of this story is obvious. Though we may wander in search of inner peace and experiment with all kinds of meditative practices, the peace and love and wisdom we seek are inevitably here all along, hidden within our own hearts. But you don't have to climb all the way to the top to enjoy the pure taste of being. The water flows down the mountain in streams and rivulets and nourishes the fields and towns below. In other words, you can taste being everywhere in everything, because being is the essence that keeps life going at every level. Until you start meditating, though you may not know what being tastes like. Remember, when you meditate, you get closer to the source of the water and learn how to recognize its taste. In brackets, depending on their personalities and where they are on the mountain, people use different terms to describe the water's taste, such as calm, peace, well-being, holiness, clarity, and compassion. It does not matter where you are headed or where you stop on your way up the mountain. You still get to dip your hands in the water of being and taste it for yourself. Then you can begin to find the taste of being wherever you go. There's no place like home, and you're already there. Okay, now let's stop here.